right time. We're very pleased to see you. We're particularly pleased. Oh gosh, we're filling up. We've got 3 pages already, Tony. We're particularly pleased to see anybody that is here for the first time. So what you need to know is that you can only come onto one of these Zoom meetings if you've had a personal invite. At the end of this, you're going to give the person who invited you a big sloppy kiss because what we're going to show you tonight is very exciting. So it's nice to see some familiar faces, but it's, as I say, it's really good to see some new people. So this is an overview of something, so don't panic if, like me, for the first time you go, oh, I don't really understand that. It's okay, because you're going to be given the opportunity to look much more deeply into this by the person that invited you here or somebody that they know. So this is literally just designed as an introductory call. So sit back, don't panic about it, and listen and take in as much as you can. And then we will fill in the gaps for you at a later date. So, Tony, I'm going to hand over to you if you're ready. It's 8:02. We will be here till 9 o'clock, as promised. So Tony's going to do an amazing presentation for you, and then we're going to hear from some of our members. So stick with us right to the end. I recommend it.
Thanks, Jill. Welcome everybody to the call. Just a quick bit of background about me and what I've been doing. Predominantly financial services for 25 odd years. Quite successful in that arena. It was very good industry for me until the last financial crash came along and put paid to that. As a successful mortgage broker, and the world stopped lending money for mortgages after the last financial crash. So one thing led to another over the last 10, 12 years, and I got to a point in 2020 during lockdown, the first lockdown, summer 2020, when I got to a position in my life where I thought, right, I need to get back to work and start to earn some money. So I started doing all my examinations and retraining to get my FCA license. And in September of 2020, I was waiting for that license to arrive, due to start my new mortgage broking business 1st of October that year, when what you're about to see this evening was shown to me. I'll be honest with you, I rejected it out of hand first time I saw it. And I had another tap on the shoulder within 24 hours, somebody else that I know that's involved. And I took a long, good, hard look at it. I decided to run with this for 1 month to see if this really did work, if it did what it said on the tin, did on the tin. I delayed the start of that business by 1 month, and I said, well, I'll start 1st of November. I've been doing this ever since. I never did start that mortgage broking business because of what you're about to see this evening. So without further ado, let me share my screen and we'll get into that presentation. I just need to make that a little bit bigger. A thumbs up, Jill, if you can see that. Thank you. I'm going to start this evening by asking you a question. But first of all, just to preface that, what you're going to see is a presentation of information rather than any sort of sales presentation. The goal here this evening is not to invite you to have a new hobby or to join a new club. The goal here is for everyone to become financially free. And I'm a firm believer that when you see the value, any decision that you wish to make is then easy. So the question I have for you is, what percentage return does your bank give you per annum on any spare capital that you might have? Do you know? Well, my bank gives me 0.01% per annum. Here's a screenshot of a similar account. Here's the laughable part. It's gross. Yes, that is gross. You're absolutely right. It is gross, but it's also before a net, before any deductions. And quite comical when we've got inflation running at what, 5-6%. It seems to go up every single month. So the place to put your capital, to save money nowadays, to have any capital growing of any worth over and above the rate of inflation, those days have long gone. So what if I could show you a way of earning, of your capital generating, let's say 1% per year. That would be 100 times more. What if that capital could gain upwards of maybe 1% per day? That would be 100 times more than my bank gives me in one day. So let me give you a screenshot of the first full calendar year that this business was in operation in 2020, during that summer lockdown that I just mentioned, when I was sat there doing all my revision and qualifications, etc. Over 329%. Every single member that was involved in this financial program during that year received over 329% passive return on their capital. So quite incredible. I will be coming back to this slide, and we'll be going back through it in more detail as we progress. So welcome to a business known as CFX, otherwise known as CashFX. And it's a business operating in the global foreign exchange market. If you're not familiar with this, foreign exchange is shortened to Forex. That's what Forex stands for. And if you have any experience of the foreign exchange market, like I have, I guarantee that what you're about to witness is not what you think it's going to be about. Yes, it is about trading the foreign exchange market, but with a difference, a massive difference. And that difference is you don't do a thing. It's a totally done for you service. So this appeals if you are busy, like most people are nowadays, but it also appeals if you have to people who have no experience whatsoever in dealing with financial markets, brokers, the foreign exchange itself, or anything like that. And also what you're about to witness tonight is what you're about to see is a truly humanitarian mission-driven project, a platform giving ordinary people like you and I, the chance to build significant wealth and returning a passive income for themselves and for their families. And in doing so, when we do that, we help educate our children on how they can do exactly the same. So let's start by talking about what CFX has brought to the market in almost 3 years that they've been trading, and the consistent returns that they've given to their members during that time. Now, that is a long enough period of time for you to vet and see for yourself and do any due diligence that you care to do. You will find nothing but truth and transparency. Naturally, you want to do your own due diligence or research, and we will help you with that. The person that brought you to this call will help you with that and point you in the right direction so you can get all your questions answered. Let me tell you right now, Google is a search engine. It is not a research engine. You use Google to find out facts and figures. Who was the 23rd president of the USA? How many times have Arsenal won the FA Cup? Stuff like that. Unfortunately, the internet nowadays is full of opinion. I will come back to this towards the end of the call and give you a little bit more detail as to why that is. So why do we trade the foreign exchange market? In fact, who does trade the foreign exchange market? Well, all the central banks, the financial institutions, governments, the whole banking industry, multinational corporations, private individuals. I spent 18 months trading the foreign exchange market a dozen or so years ago. The list goes on, and the attraction with this marketplace is for 4 main reasons, which I'll come on to. But my next question to you is, do you know what your bank does with that money, that capital that you have on deposit? Do you know? You will know that the longer you're prepared to tie your money up with the bank, the higher rate of return they're prepared to give you. Fantastic. There's a reason for that. So they know that they've got access to that capital for a given amount of time. And your bank trades your money, has access to your money, and trades it on the foreign exchange market. That is how they make their billions in their profits. Do they pass their profits on to their customers? You and I? The answer is no, they don't. So why do they trade this market? They've been doing it for generations. The first very important reason, it is the largest, most liquid financial market on the planet, bar none. The average daily traded amount is 5.3 trillion US dollars per day. Let's just put that into perspective. If I told you that the lottery winnings tonight was $61 million, that would change anyone's life worth winning. That is what 5.3 trillion equates to per second. $61 million is traded per second. That took about 3 seconds to say. So that's about $180 million just been traded. And it is traded 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. And here is a key component. Historically proven to be recession-proof. Irrespective of whether there's a pandemic or a war, this market still, if you know what you're doing, is generating profit. So if you were to ask the person that brought you to the call tonight if they've had winning trading days as they've been a member of, since they've been a member of CFX, they will confirm they have had winning trading days every single day. That doesn't mean that CFX wins every trade. That is impossible. But most win. Of course, there are some losses, but we've never had a losing day. So let's get back to that slide for 2020, the first full calendar year. Let's look at that in a little bit of detail. The best 2 months of the year were January and February. Well, what happened in March 2020? Along came a global pandemic. So just over 2 years ago, and the markets became less predictable. But as you will see, I think that April was the worst month, given with the exception of December, over 23% every single month. Not quite as good as the 2 months before. What happened in December? Well, December is always less because of the holiday period, Christmas and New Year. The market isn't open as much, obviously, and there's less volume in the market. So traditionally, December is always the worst month of the year. But as you can see for 2020, over 329%. I started in the September of this year, and I was quite blown away that in my very first month, October, over 25% return. Quite incredible. So that's where the recession-proof element comes in. So what I'd like to do now is get a little bit more into the company itself, and let's delve a little bit into the company, who are the owners, where they're based, and we'll go from there, and we'll actually get into how we actually generate income from this marketplace. So CashFX, the three key ingredients here, we're going to look at core values, purpose, and positioning in the marketplace. And the core value of CFX is to create an opportunity for those who would not normally have access to these kind of consistent, profitable returns. The returns that this marketplace can give, if you know what you're doing. And this is where the average man and woman in the street, we've become conditioned to think what is acceptable returns that the banks give us. But these returns that I've shown you are quite normal in the financial industries. It's just the average man and woman on the street don't normally get access to it. So the owners of the company have designed and structured the program in such a way that if you have no previous experience, you can simply connect to the platform and do very well indeed. So the purpose, CFX purpose, is that we believe it's the right for all individuals to create and experience financial abundance for themselves and for their family. And I know from personal experience, when you do that, you give people a sense of empowerment. If you help improve an individual's financial status, you start to release them from fear of not or never having enough to get by. Another question for you, ladies and gents. Are you here on this planet, in this existence, to just pay the bills until you die? I hope you feel the same as me, because I know I'm not here to do that. So this is why this is one of the reasons that this appeals so much. Positioning, how is CFX different to anything else that might appear to be similar in this Forex space? And that is very simply based upon technology. Technology that has been developed and is owned in-house, and it's been done so for a very long time. What this means to you and I is that we can both now learn and earn from a program that's been proven. It's made the owners significantly wealthy, and they've had years of success in this field. So who are the owners of the company? This was important to me when I was doing my research. Two gentlemen, both from the Caribbean, both from the Dominican Republic. Huáscar López is the CEO, and Edwin Nabad, head of trading operations. Now, these guys, first and foremost, I was not prepared to align myself or be associated with owners of not already created massive success in their past. If this was their first success, I wouldn't be here. That's not to say that there's anything wrong with people achieving their first success. Of course it isn't. It's just that I know from experience that so many things can go wrong, and you never know how people are going to manage a super successful business, and which CFX already is. Just fast approaching the end of our third year of trading. So goalposts can get moved, things can change as businesses evolve. And this is a rapidly evolving business. So this type of success, their proven success, is, in my humble opinion, critically important. Their personal wealth is critically important. You do not measure the wealth of these guys in millions or tens of millions. You measure it in hundreds of millions. That then begs the question, why do CFX at all? I'll cover that off more towards the end of the call. But I know, having been involved in Forex trading, that to set up a platform like this on a global scale is incredibly expensive. The technology has set them back millions just to set that up in the first place, let alone their head office as well. So, and all the support that goes with that. These guys have got very deep pockets, and they set that up from the beginning. This is not a fly-by-night operation. I needed to see longevity when I was looking at this. I was not prepared to be involved in something that was going to be around for 6 or 12 months. So this was heartwarming to learn when I did my research. So where is the head office based? Well, the nearest financial hub, financial center, if you like, in the Caribbean is that of Panama City. Strategic location in the Americas, because all the US, Canadian, European, and Asian banks are all located in Panama City. It is a real banking hub. You might be familiar with London, Tokyo, New York as 3 financial centers, the main ones. Absolutely. If we were talking about the Middle East, I'd be saying Dubai is a financial hub for the Middle East in the same way that Panama is for the Caribbean. And there's a great deal of stability with the Panamanian government because of the Panama Canal as well. What you see in front of you are artist impression slides of what the head office is supposed to look like. And again, for me, is this an Amazon setup where it started operating out of their garage or their bedroom? No, these guys purchased the whole of the 9th floor of the RBS Tower at a cost of over $2 million and then spent a further $500,000 refurbishing the premises to look like, hopefully, something like those slides that you see before you. These offices were due to open in 2020, but of course the pandemic put paid to that. And in actual fact, the offices were open towards the end of last year, 2021. So what I'm going to share with you now is a very short 90-second video and give you a flavour to see what the head office is like, and you'll see the calibre of the operation from that. Cool, that was Edwin and Huáscar, the ribbon cutting event. So let's get into some nitty gritty. Let's see how we actually extract money from this foreign exchange market. What's the mechanics of it? How is it set up? Well, there is the foreign exchange market, 5.3 trillion a day. That equates to $61.3 million per second. Phenomenal. There is only one way you can access this marketplace, and that is via a fully licensed and highly regulated foreign exchange broker. And if you have any experience of doing this yourself, as I have, what you do is you set up an account, you become the customer of the broker, you do all the work, you do all the research, you decide upon all the trading signals that you're going to send to the broker facilitates that for you, charges you a fee for the privilege, and your trade will either win, lose, or draw. The broker wins every single time because he's charging you a fee for placing that trade. That is the process. That's how it works. So where does CFX fit into this model? Well, instead of being the customer of the broker, we are all customers of CFX. It's CFX that is the customer of the broker. It's CFX that does all the work, sends all the trading signals. We do absolutely nothing. So let's make this absolutely clear, because a lot of people do get this misinformed. CFX is not a regulated body because it doesn't need to be, and is therefore not offering any financial services, any financial advice, or any financial guarantees. CFX is a Forex educational company. I'll come on to that in a moment. And it's offering access to its incredibly consistent trading signals, winning strategies, and best endeavors. That is the model. That's how it works. It is the broker that is regulated. So CFX is now operating in almost 200 different countries and jurisdictions around the world. There is not one broking house on the planet that can facilitate that. So therefore, CFX has multiple broker relationships around the world. So that is the mechanics of how they trade the market. And let's get into now how we receive income from CFX. First of all, the product of the company. Trading is not the product of the company. The CFX Foreign Exchange Academy, think of this as an online university, is the product of the company. Very soon to become the only government accredited foreign exchange training program on the planet. Now, this isn't for everyone, but there are lots of people who wish to learn how to trade this marketplace. I was one of them a dozen years ago, but you can start as a complete novice through the Elemental series and progress as you learn and end up in the Supreme series and come out as effectively a professional trader, if that is what you want to do. For me personally, I'm not interested in doing that. I don't have the time or inclination. I've been there, I've done it. I've spent 10, 12, 14 hours a day sat in front of screens, watching candles going up and down. Yes, you can make some money and you can lose it even quicker than you make it. So that's why I left that alone a long time ago and decided that was a job best left for the professionals. So that is the product that we have. How we access the product and the trading itself is done through a series of what we refer to as trading packs. Now think of this as a trading ladder, and there are 15 steps or rungs to the ladder. And you will see a figure there at the top here, 300, that is 300, that represents $300 US. That is the minimum entry level, but you can choose any level to come in that you wish. I'll run through that in a moment. And you climb, the idea is that you then climb this ladder using your profits alone. And you go through until eventually you're working up into the tens of thousands, until ultimately you can end up on a $100,000 trading account. So why would you need or want to do that? So I'll put a spreadsheet in front of you in a moment, which will help explain that. But again, I would suggest getting back to the person that introduced you to this call and ask them when they started, what trading pack did they start on? What level do they come in at? And where are they now? Because every member of CFX makes money because we make profit every single day. And therefore, if we make 0.5% in a day or 1% in a day, every single member has that credited to their account. So let's look at that spreadsheet and let's put a little bit of meat on the bone. So there's a few figures on here. Don't worry. Let's break it down. Green column on the left-hand side. These are the different trading pack sizes, 15 rungs on the ladder, 300 at the minimum entry level. If you're in the UK, I know a lot of you are, that's about £250, right the way up to the $100,000 package. Now, for the purpose of this exercise, and it's important to say that no previous past returns are going to guarantee any future returns. But for the purpose of the exercise, we're going to have to, for projecting this forward, because we always get asked, so what period of time can I expect to climb this ladder? How long is it going to take me to get to that $100,000 level? Well, I can tell you that CFX, since it started, has averaged over 6.1% per week. Last year, for the first 50 weeks of the year, so giving up Christmas and New Year, we averaged over 5% per week. This year, it's a bit less than that. For the purpose of this exercise alone, we're going to make an assumption of 5% per week. And this column will tell you, let's look at $300. That's going to give you a return in the yellow column of about $10, $11. Not very exciting, not very life-changing. However, if you cast your eye down this yellow column, you'll see that a $100,000 account at this rate of return is going to return $3,500 per week passive income. So how long is it going to take to climb this ladder? If you look at the far right-hand side, the pink column is going to say how many months it would take at this rate of return. So $300 is going to take 5 years to get to that 100K level. So when I looked at this, my first reaction, my gut reaction was $300 is worth a punt. When I looked into it a little bit more and started to understand it, I said, okay, I'm joining on a $1,000 account, which I did in September 19 months ago. And this column here, why did I do that? Well, first reason is that I felt comfortable at that level and I wasn't going to lose any sleep if I lost that money. Yes, if I lost $1,000 at £800, I would be pretty cheesed off, but it wouldn't change my life. So that was comfortable. And that's the golden rule here. You come in at a level you feel comfortable with, you're not going to lose any sleep over. This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is not a put money in today, get it out tomorrow scheme. This is a medium to long-term wealth creation program. So I say to people, you put in an amount of capital. So if you're looking into coming in with larger amounts, that you're not going to need, want or miss for the next 12 to 18 months. If you need the money before that, you don't put it in. So the first thing was I felt comfortable at that level. The second thing I noticed was that I've just saved myself 14 months. So the higher you come in at, the more time you're going to save, the quicker you're going to get to that 100K. But here's the thing. It did not take me 47 months to get to 100K. It took me 7 months. Because what I've been talking to you about so far is just the trading returns. But there are other ways of generating income into your account. So we're going to have a look at that now as well. The 3 ways are, the first one is through bare capital. So I call that doing the bare minimum, i.e. nothing. So the bare, you might have heard of the phrase bull and bear capital from the financial markets. So that's what I've been talking to you about so far. Doing the bare minimum, i.e. nothing. Just being a customer of CFX means that you will have your capital in the trading pool and getting those trading returns. Fantastic. The second way of generating income into your account is if you choose to share the opportunity, and we call that bull capital. Now, I don't have a networking background, and I know a lot of people do. That's great. But I am a firm believer that charity begins at home. If you can't help your family, who on earth can you help? And there are many people that first start off with this and say, well, I'm not going to share this with anyone. Believe me, it's very difficult not to share it when you are making 15, 16 to 20% plus per month passive income and climbing that ladder and seeing it working. And the third way you can generate income into your account is through leadership and ranking levels, and I'll touch on that in a moment as well. So let's really break it down and let's look at an example of a trading account and how that works, a trading pack. This is the principle for every pack is exactly the same. The percentages are exactly the same, whether it's $300 or $100,000. So in this example, this is the level I joined at, a $1,000 trading account. 70% is allocated to the trading pool. That is the capital being traded on the market for you. 30% gives you access to the digital product. You may or may not want or desire access to that product, but that's effectively what you're doing. That is purchasing access to that product. It also doubles up, this 30% also doubles up as the compensation or reward plan, if you will. And that, how does that work? Well, when I joined on a $1,000 account, my sponsor, personal friend of mine who I hold in high regard and who I am eternally grateful for inviting me to look at this, half of that 30%, so 15%, is immediately got paid into his account. He received $150. Fantastic. He also received 10% of the remaining $150. It's the unilevel bonus or leadership bonus, if you will. So he received $165 for me joining when I did. Fantastic. But here's the thing. Every time I upgraded my account from profits, and I've never added a penny of my own money to this since that initial $1,000, every time I upgraded my account, he got paid 15% fast start and another 10% of the Unilevel. So what that means is by the time I got this $1,000 account to $100,000, he'd been paid $15,000 and another $1,500, $16,500. It gets better. I renewed that account 6 months later and he got paid again. So for making one introduction to this, me, just on my account alone, my sponsor, person that introduced me to this, received $33,000 over 14 months for making one introduction. And he will continually, as long as I stay in CFX, he will continue to get paid that money. A phenomenal income generator over and above the trading returns. The caveat to this, and the contract effectively says that with your trading account, what the CFX will say is that the 70% in the trading pool will return you a maximum of 200% of the pack value, in this case, $2,000. If you get to that limit, then the account expires, it's finished. You've had the money at the maximum out of the account that it will produce. What we do is we don't get to that limit long before we get to that limit, there's enough capital in the account to upgrade to the next level. Why would you want to upgrade? Well, just look, the next account up from 1,000 is 2,000. So when I did my very first upgrade, I then had $1,400 in the trading pool. So by the time I've done my first upgrade, I've got more capital in the trading pool than I initially outlaid. And my trading returns doubled. That's why we climb that trading ladder until we get to that 100K level. So that's a quick breakdown of how the trading pack works. Let's look at those leadership bonuses. Well, when I looked at CFX, there were 80,000 members worldwide. That's not enough to fill Wembley Stadium. So for me, I saw the potential of an opportunity. I've seen plenty of, we probably all have over the years, haven't we, of opportunities where it's lucky for those that get involved early. Anyone that gets involved in the first 3 years of this platform is getting in early. I'll expand on that in a moment. So we now have over 400,000 members. So in 19 months, this has grown fivefold. We have about 2,700 executives. Jill, who introduced at the beginning of this call, hosting this call tonight, is at manager level. I'm at director level. Jill is one of, I think, about 600 managers. I'm one of about 150, 160 directors. We have 16 presidents, 4 ambassadors. This business is so young, we do not yet have a global ambassador. That position is going to get filled in the fullness of time, no doubt. So let's do a quick recap. Why CFX? Right timing, right market, growing trends. Remember, this is operating in an industry that's returned phenomenal profits to the financial industry for generations. You do not have to be a networker to make money in this platform. The key to this, and this was a key ingredient in me getting involved, is that everyone makes money. whether you choose to share the opportunity or not. Just being a customer, the only decision you need to make is, do I wish to be a customer and start receiving the trading returns that we all receive? Every single member receives. But here's some key bullet points. There's no joining fee. Your only capital outlay is the trading pack you purchase. There's no membership fees. There's no monthly auto ship fees. There's no physical products to sell. You do not have to sell anything if you don't wish to. You do not have to become an expert in pills, potions, or Tupperware. You can choose, if you want, just to have a 100% passive income, if that is what you desire. We get paid the trading returns from the week, Monday to Friday, accumulate, and that drops into our account balance every weekend, every Saturday. We get an email saying, congratulations, X amount has just gone into your account. Negligible attrition. Hardly anyone leaves when they're receiving these kind of returns. As you can imagine, we already now have over 400,000 members globally. This is geared and set up to have several million members, and it's going to happen very, very quickly, very soon. So the technology is not owned by a third party. This is not off-the-shelf technology. This has been owned and is continually being developed in-house. The tech is already proven to be successful. The personal wealth of the owners of the company is a given success to that. CFX has already paid out almost $1 billion to its members in less than 3 years. And an interesting fact that I only learned yesterday was that Apple turned over $1 billion. It took them 7 years. CFX has turned that over, is about to turn that over in less than half that time. So we're all familiar with where Apple are now, and this is going the same way on a much more quicker scale. Super successful and already wealthy owners who do not need to do CFX, I'll expand on that in a moment, a wealth creation program like no other. It is unique. Why is it unique? Because no one in this space, in this financial arena, has ever owned and built their own technology and then had the personal wealth, the deep pockets, if you like, and the dedication to create anything like this before. It is unique. You might think it looks familiar to other Forex platforms. I've seen them all, trust me. This is nothing like anything else that's out there. Any other platform that set out in 2019, like CFX did, in the Forex space, no longer exists. So whereas this is going from strength to strength. And we're coming on to the biggest excitement about this and what it's doing for the people, built for the people to benefit the people. This has been specifically built and developed to help people. It's been built and launched to assist everyone. There is no discrimination here. It's built for everyone, to help everyone build a bigger and brighter financial future. This has not been built to highlight the financial inequality that we still see around the world today. The fat cats in the banking system have had it far too good for far too long. At an entry level of $300, most people can find that kind of capital to get involved. This is putting those kind of returns that the banking industry have been getting for a long time into the hands of the average man and woman on the street. And there is a massive humanitarian ethos and spirit behind this. I mentioned this at the very beginning of the call. There are so many things you can do with this, but I believe that you can't serve from an empty cup. You need to have your finances secure before you can help others, of course. But just to give you a flavour of the kind of things that are being done, a personal friend of mine in Ireland has been supporting and feeding the homeless in Ireland through purchasing an account specifically for that charity. Same again with another friend who has been feeding a village in the Far East. The proceeds of the trading account has been helping feed the village. Quite incredible. And the list goes on. People do things closer to home to help family members, maybe through healthcare, things like that. There's no end of the charities that are benefiting from this. So that's the humanitarian spirit that's behind this. And every single member makes profit. No one gets left behind. If you are a customer of CFX, if you have a trading account and CFX make a profit and return a percentage in a given day, you get paid that money. And as far as I'm aware, no one's ever regretted joining CFX. That's for sure. Now, there's only one way you can get involved, and that's by personal recommendation and referral only. Jill mentioned that at the very beginning. That is why you've been introduced to come and have a look at this presentation today. But you need to be very careful out there, because there are scammers with fake sites and fake apps. If you go to your app store and look up CFX, you will find an app or two. CFX does not have an app. And because of this, because people don't rob us in our homes anymore, we get robbed online, don't we? We've all had experience of fake and scam texts or emails. And it's no different with CFX. There are mirror image fake websites. So people Google CFX, they find that they think, yeah, I'm going to get involved. They Google it, they send money, they never see the money again. As a result, you'll see a lot of disgruntled people who have lost money and venting their anger. And who can blame them? But they haven't given their money to CFX. So you need to be careful out there. And that's why I mentioned Google is a search engine, not a research engine. Get back to the person that introduced you to this call, and we will point you in the right direction where you can get all the correct information. So let's do a quick recap on those numbers. That's the numbers I showed you earlier for 2020. Let's bring you more up to speed with 2021. Over 254% for last year. Every single month, over 20% return. Again, with the exception of December, for reasons I gave before. Let's bring you up to speed to 2022 with the first, can you believe, 1/3 of this year has gone already. And we're already at over 70%. And let's bring you back to speed with this week, because we're now in May, aren't we? So Monday. Remember what my bank returns me, 0.01%. At today's rate of return, this 0.89% means my money would have needed to be in my bank for 89 years to return the same that we all received, all our members received on Monday. I had to work this out, but I think it's 1933. So before my parents were born, my grandparents would have needed to put money in the bank to get the same kind of return that we all received on Monday. What about Tuesday? A little bit better. It would only have been needed to have been in 90 years. So again, back to the 1930s. Now, by this time, you're possibly thinking of two things. I know I did when I looked at this. One, this sounds too good to be true. And two, what's the catch? So let's cover that. Is it too good to be true or too good to miss? Is the first thing I say. Is it too good to be true that a teenage footballer can earn £1 million a month? It's too good to be true for you and I. It's not too good to be true for him or her. If they earn the same, I don't know. And the other thing to bear in mind here is conditioned thinking. We've all grown up to be conditioned to think in a certain way. What is acceptable for returns? I know from working in the finance industry, these kind of daily returns are nothing. These are very cautious returns trading the marketplace. And the catch. Well, I'm going to tell you what the catch is. I've learned this myself. And that catch is that if you choose to get involved in this, and once you see it working and working for you, as it does for every single member, you're going to start to lose some sleep. That is the catch. Why? Because we're all human. And we all have dreams, goals, and aspirations, and they're all at the back of our mind. We say things like, when we win the lottery, we're going to do X, Y, Z. Those dreams, goals, and aspirations are normally shackled down by financial constraints. This starts to lift those shackles of restraint, and those dreams, goals, and aspirations start to come to the forefront of your mind. They start to become reachable, attainable. And that is still 19 months later keeping me awake at night in the nicest possible way. So I like this, success leaves clues, following the footprints left by those who have travelled the path before you. Remember I said at the beginning of this call, I said that it's a presentation of information that you can make an informed decision, and when the value is clear, the decision is easy. You will have some questions. Get back to the person that introduced you to this. Let's get your questions answered. You'll probably, we can share our accounts, we can show you how it works, and you'll see for yourself. But hopefully you can now see the value of what we have and why you've been invited to follow in the footsteps of the person who has brought you to this call. That is the end of my presentation. I'm going to hand you back to Jill, and here's an opportunity now to hear from a couple of our members and what CFX has done for them. Thanks, Jill.
Wow, thanks very much, Tony. We had 136 people on the call at the top of that. So if Fabulous. You're still with us, please don't go away, because actually this is my favourite bit of the evening. Although Tony's presentation is always fabulous, for me, it's hearing from other people and the lives that have been changed through this opportunity that I think resonated with me the most. So I've got a few people that I want to introduce you to, but first of all, I wanted just to tell you briefly my story. So I was introduced to this in April last year, April the 2nd, my first pack started trading, 2021. So this is just rolling on 13 months for me now. And I came in actually with my first pack with $7,000, and I quickly added 2 other packs because we're allowed to do that under my household. And then I bought some packs for my children, my adult children. So I'm managing quite a lot of packs, as Tony described to you. Because I quite quickly worked out what was going on here, because although Tony's not from a networking background, I am. And so it was very clear to me right from the get-go that this was a very, very different setup to all the other network marketing businesses that I'd been in. So if you do know people that are currently or have been in network marketing businesses, please do contact them, because they will get it too. Because one of the big problems we have with network marketing is that a lot of people are not salesperson. They get disheartened. They have to keep up their auto ship, as Tony was saying. They're spending money in order to make money. And there's a huge drop-off, and people's dreams are going down the pan. This is very, very different. People's dreams are coming true in this business. So please do make sure that you contact those people. So for me, it's about building that team and changing people's lives, but more importantly, on a personal level. One of my children had a little boy. He's 11 months old. Can you believe that, everybody? He's 11 months old now, and they lost a lot of their income because my daughter went on to statutory maternity pay, which is only £600 a month, if you know. And so what I was able to do with her pack was give her the profits from that, and I think top up their family income by the tune of about £10,000 over the last year. So you can just imagine what that has made, a colossal difference that has made to their lives. So that's my little story, and but what I want to do now is introduce you to somebody else who hasn't had any networking experience at all. So I'd like to come to Chris Lord, actually. I know that he's in the room.
Yeah, hi, Jill.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for joining us. I know you were busy this evening, but thanks for hopping on. No,
I appreciate your time and letting me tell my story. So, yeah, I joined, when did I join? Just over 14 months ago. So I'm an ex-serving soldier in the British Army. I left after 22 years of service. I left as a brigade top major, so I hit the rank I wanted to. But I left at Christmas time. And when you retire from the army, you get an immediate pension, and you get a monthly pension as well. It is great, but it's not good enough to live the lifestyle that we all like to live these days. So I joined this project to top up my pension with a passive income. That's what I wanted from this. Yeah, right. So within the first month of when I started this project, I managed to match my monthly salary. So what took me 22 years to get to the top enlisted rank in the army, I managed to match that in the first month of working this project. So for me, I was just blown away straight away. I was like, wow, it works, and it works quickly. And then obviously, so I initially invested £2,500 in February of last year. And I have multiple packs, as Jill did as well. And I've put one extra penny into this project from the start. I'm now trading at 130k. And what that 130k does, it tops my pension up by an extra 20,000-ish just on the trading return alone per month. So $20,000, I would have to be the CEO of a company to be earning that sort of return per month. And trust me, I do not work like a CEO. I spend most of my time golfing and recently doing a lot of painting. But apart from that, this is as passive as it gets. And Jill nailed it on the head. You know, I'm a soldier. I'm not a salesman. I'm certainly not a networker. But what it does is it allows, when you start seeing the returns, daily returns coming in and getting paid every Saturday, it gives you the confidence then to share this to your family, as I did. And that opened everything up for me, because I've got a father who's had to do another 3 or 4 years of his pension. And clearly I didn't want him to do that. He's at a point where I don't want him to work anymore. And I managed to get him within a few months of setting him up in a situation where he's reduced his days down to, I think, 2 per week. And as of in about 2 months, he'll probably stop altogether. So for me, to have that sort of impact on my dad's life, you know, is just, you know, it's so humbling. And my mother-in-law, who inherently used to stare at me with a sharp knife at the other side of the table, as mother-in-laws sometimes do, she now smiles at me and gives me hugs. So I managed to give her the same sort of setup, really, where she put an initial investment in, and now she doesn't have to work either, where she would have had to do another 5 years. So for me to have that sort of impact on people's lives is huge. And it's changed my life, and it's changing my family's life. And that's the thing you've got here. And you're going to be very, very grateful to the person that invited us this call, as I am as well. Jill, that is me. I could waffle on for hours, but I will save the audience, and I will share the wealth.
Thanks very much, Chris. And like me, what I forgot to say was that, you know, I came in with 7. I did top it up with some money as I saw this growing. But like you, I'm now trading $135,000 in just over a year. So it's colossal. It's mind-blowing stuff, really.
It is.
Okay, so I'd like to come to the lady that introduced me to the business, which is my good friend Marion Bevington.
Hello, everybody. It's me, my fairy dust. So my story, just before I signed up, it was a little over a year ago, and I was actually concerned I wasn't going to be able to pay bills. And I've been trying to save a company for the previous 2 years from crashing. That was a face-to-face company. And everything was just seemed to be sinking and sinking and sinking. Anyway, Tony had told me about this 6 months before I even looked at it, because I was busy trying to fix this sinking ship. And so I decided I better have a look at this thing. And it was interesting because I had a little bit of crypto, and at the same time the crypto popped up, and I looked at this thing that Tony had showed me and knew I had enough to come in at 15,000, which is a really substantial place to start. So I started looking at the actual platform and the structure, and my background is IT. So I've come from 30 years of working in finance and banking and in corporates and all sorts of different massive computer systems in the government, all over the different types of industries, and banking and finance and integration were a big part of what I did. So when I looked at this platform, and it had all of my favorite things, or it was all my favorite toys. So all the technology is really up to date. It's really cutting edge technology, the way that they've put it all together. It's just like this exquisite orchestration of amazing tools and instruments. And then the idea that lives underneath it all is this Forex fountain, which I've known for years that Forex is a great place to create an income from, because it's this free flow of liquid, of money. But I'd never known how to do it, because I tried to learn it once and lost $500 in about 5 seconds. So I knew that's not really my calling. So I just wanted someone to do it for me. And that's what CashFX is doing. They're doing the Forex for me. And they've done it around this exquisite piece of technology that they've created, and they own it all. So people can't come and put the fees up or switch things off or make adjustments to any of the CFX systems. They're all built in-house and owned in-house. That's what proprietary technology means. It means they own it. They've built it and they own it. So it's like this, the amount of effort and the amount of funding and the amount of energy and the amount of wholeheartedness that's gone into this project is amazing, amazing, amazing. And now, after just over a year ago worrying about the rent, I am about to swan off to Mexico for the second time. I was there for 6 months and the team grew like wildfire. I've never done network marketing before. I am not a salesperson. I am brilliant at selling, but I'm not a salesperson. But what we're selling isn't really, it's what I sell through is my story about my experience and the expression that I can give about my experience. That's what sells. I don't have to do it, just sharing my experience is doing it for me. So give the person who invited you to this call a big sloppy kiss and get yourself signed up. That's all I've got to say. Over and out, Sergeant Major, stand by your beds.
Thanks, Marianne. She's referring to Chris there, by the way, not me. Okay, and finally, there's a very, very important young man that you need to hear from, and his name is Mike Trainer. Mike, are you there?
Oh, I like the young man bit.
We have to stick together, Mike.
Yeah, I started this, I came into this project back in October 2020. I came in on a $300 pack and I have put no more money of my own into this project. And I reached the 100K level in 11 months. I shared it with 10 people, 8 of which are passive. And I now have a team of almost 1,500 people. Like you, Jill, I was from a networking background and from the early 1970s, been in some good companies. But the thing is, as you said, most people that are in networking with a product base, they're not salespeople. And I struggled to sell products and recruit people. And it takes you a very, very long time to get anywhere up the ladder. This, you don't have to bother about any of that, which is what attracted me. Plus the fact I'd known Tony for quite a long time, and if it was good enough for him, it was good enough for me. I let him do all the research. I didn't have to bother with it. And the income from this is just, well, I've never seen anything like it. As Chris said, you know, a CEO would be on that sort of money. And it's amazing. And what it's allowed me to do is repay my daughter the cost of her wedding, because the money was scammed from me by a rogue trader. So in the end, she had to pay for her own wedding, which was really quite upsetting. So this has allowed me to put her into this business, and she's going to get back a lot more money than what the cost of her wedding is. And all I say to people, if you're either skeptical or not sure what to do about this business, I was shown this 3 months after the company launched. I mean, 3 months, and I didn't understand it, and I walked away. How foolish was that? But it wasn't the right time. When Tony came along, it was the right time, and I jumped in, and I haven't looked back. So all I can say is just take a leap of faith and jump in. You won't regret it. So over to you, back to you, Jill.
Thank you very much, Mike. I think, you know, I agree with you, and particularly what you need to understand about a networking business is it's really important the team that you choose to come in with, because I know the importance of having good leadership, and I'm very fortunate that I fell into that in the right place. And, you know, we hear about people all the time that are doing really well, and a lot of it is because they've been introduced by people that are very active in the business and are heart-centered. And, you know, Tony comes from that place. He works very hard for all of us, and we're very grateful to him, and him likewise to the lineage also that introduced us all. So this isn't about one person being better than another. This is about teamwork. We all bring our own skills and our own backgrounds, our own knowledge into this, and we all work very closely as a team, and we'd love to have you join us. So as we say, get back to the person that introduced you to this. As Chris said, you know, he likes to see the things on the screen. If you're a very visual person, that person will either show you their accounts, and if you want, you could also introduce them to somebody like Chris or Marion or Tony or me or Mike, and we will happily show you our trading returns and our back office and show you exactly how all of this works. It's about truth and transparency, as Tony said. We've got nothing to hide here. So, you know, you'd be very welcome if you wanted to come on board with us. So thank you very much, Tony. I'll give you the last word. It's now, it's 9 o'clock, aren't we clever?
Perfect timing. Thanks, Jill. Thanks, guys. Thanks everybody for your testimonials. And yeah, there's nothing really more to add. Get back to the person that introduced you to this. If you choose to get on board, you will be forever grateful, as I am to my sponsor, who, when he contacted me, was in Canada, and got within a few months of being involved in CFX, was fed up with shoveling 5 foot of snow off his drive. He went to Mexico for a month. That was in February last year. He's still in Mexico.
So we're all going to end up in Mexico at this rate.
We all are, aren't we? So yeah, it's the lifestyle change for those that want it. So yeah, go back to the person that introduced you, and we will see you on the other side. Enjoy the rest of your evening, ladies and gents.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.